Today, Tanya is going to be talking about how security is everybody's job, and we completely agree with that. Tanya is a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft, so please give a big round of applause for our speaker, Tanya.
Thank you. I have 40 minutes, including questions? Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. How's it going? So who here was, okay, so my screen's up. Can you swap it over? Oh, my screen went dark over there. That's good. Don't worry. It's like my screen's on. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in again. Do you agree? No, he's like, no, don't do that. We were fiddling around with it, and he wanted me to keep it open the whole time, so I had to walk away from my laptop with it unlocked. Right? So you all know, and it was so it would work. But don't worry, we got this. Except for I don't want it like that. I want it to be like this. So of course I'm going to fiddle with it. Okay, well, you fiddle with my laptop, and I'm going to talk to everyone. So, who here works in IT somewhere? Yeah? Okay. Who here does ops? Okay. Who here is a developer? Okay. Who here might not be a developer but writes code as part of their job? Okay. Who here does support as part of their job? Who here does security as part of their job? Every hand, every hand. By the end of this talk, I expect all of your hands to go up because I am not kidding when I say security is actually everybody's job. He's going to do some stuff. But what I'm going to talk about today is basically, I'm going to start with what is AppSec, just so we're all on the same page because I have some opinions. Then we're going to talk about what I feel DevSecOps is, because a lot of people are like, no, DevSecOps isn't a thing. You're just supposed to do DevOps properly, and then it should be secure. And I promise, the moment that everyone doing DevOps releases secure apps every time, I will shut up and stop saying DevSecOps. But until then, I feel like we still need to say that it is a thing and that it's important. After that, I'm going to talk about what the 3 ways are of DevOps, because everyone seems to have a different definition. And then I'm going to talk just basically the whole rest of the talk of just examples of how we can weave security into DevOps to every single part of the way. I have like a bunch of interesting ideas. I'm going to quote a bunch of the other speakers because, well, that's where I learned a lot of this stuff. Who here has been to DevSecCon before? I've been a few times. So I'm tempted to ask how you heard about it, but then no one's going to talk and it's going to be awkward. But anyway, we totally had this working early, I swear. I got here really early and obsessively checked. Because I don't know if you know, but when you speak at conferences, this is the most nerve-wracking part. Like as soon as the things work, I'm like, everything will be fine. I'm never worried about like scary questions or anyone being mean. I'm like, everyone here is gonna have a good time, it's gonna be great. But I'm just like, gosh, I hope my laptop works. So part of my thing when I do a talk is if you ask a question or you participate, you get a candy. So who here has ever been to Canada before? Okay, good job. The rest of you, let me know. So in Canada, we're big into this thing called maple syrup. So the maple tree, you know, like that leaf on our flag, we're very excited about it. And they leak sugar. And so we take the sugar, we boil it down, and then it makes maple syrup. And so I brought maple candies. So all they are made of is tree sap. If you ask a question, you get a candy. No, I'm not kidding. I'm like a kindergarten teacher just waiting to happen. So I hope that helps you all be a little bit less shy for this talk, but for all the talks. Participation is key. For me, like question period is where you can teach me things that are new, because sometimes I don't understand things that, like you have like a specific situation that I've never heard of before, and I can learn something new. Sometimes you ask a question, and I'm like, great, so apparently I didn't explain that clearly at all. Like, I need to update my slides or like change the way I'm explaining things so it's more clear. And I'm ridiculously extroverted. So for the entire conference, please come say hi if you want to. Like, you don't have to. But I really like to talk. So I'm really friendly. I'm nice, I swear. And So I kind of wanted to do like presenter view so I can see my notes. Let me try. It looks like it's seeing stuff. Did you try unplugging and plugging it back in again? Also, I actually have another adapter, because that adapter sometimes misbehaves. Like, it didn't earlier, but sometimes. Do you want to try the brand new one?
The adapter's working great.
Oh, okay.
PowerPoint is just really annoying sometimes.
Really? I love PowerPoint. Has anyone used things that aren't PowerPoint? Because I have, and then I bought PowerPoint. I know I'm biased, because, you know. But I bought it before I worked there. I paid for my copy of Microsoft Office. But my boss told me he'd give me a free one if I wanted.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, all right. Let's hope. You're what? I didn't hear that, but it looked really positive. Da-da-da! Yes! Thank you. Oh, I promised him I wouldn't jump up and down. Promise is already broken. Okay, everyone, hi. Hi, so I'm Tanya, what's up? Nice to meet you. So I'm gonna talk about how security is everybody's job. And I mean that, wait, let's turn this on, it'll be even better. On, literally. I mean it literally. I'm not kidding, I mean it. So let's talk. So what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about DevOps, what I mean by DevSecOps, and then we're going to talk about how you can make security a part of your daily work and not go crazy, not feel like it's like this big, huge extra thing. I want security to seem like it's doable and possible, and it really is. Okay. Who here has seen this slide before? Some security people feel, you know, the DevOps is this amazing, wonderful unicorn that's so amazing it poops rainbows and that we clean up the mess. But that's not how I view it. So when I met Francois, he made this slide. This is how he and I hope by the end of this conference you see DevOps. It's security enabling, teaching, helping DevOps people kick complete butt securely. So thanks for letting me steal your slide. So this is me. I'm Tanya Janca on the internet. I'm known as She Hacks Purple. I like punk rock. And this is the I'm qualified to do this talk slide. That's why people tell you about themselves. So I work for this little amazing startup company. You may have heard of us. I'm called a developer advocate or a developer avocado, as some of us call it. I'm totally obsessed with OWASP. I talk about OWASP in like every single talk, even if it doesn't always relate, because I'm a huge, huge fan. I'm one of the founders of something called WhoaSec. So if you are a woman, we're opening a chapter in Seattle really soon. And it's basically a place for you to come meet lots of friends who are women that work in security. And I am one of the project leaders for an OWASP project, of course, called DevSlop. Sloppy DevOps, that's us. Okay, so let's learn stuff. Okay, so first I want to do just a couple definitions, and I know you're all like, I'm an expert in this, I already know all this, but not every single person in the audience is, so this will be like 2 minutes and it won't hurt. Okay, so what is AppSec? Anything that you do to make your software more secure is how I define AppSec. So I said that because I couldn't find someone else to say it. But if you were doing like a code review and looking for security bugs specifically, and you have like this formal process, that's AppSec. But if you are grepping through your source control, like all through your code library, looking for like something that you just found out, like, oh, that function's really insecure, we need to like update it and use this other one, that's AppSec. It doesn't have to be super formal, it just has to have the purpose of trying to make your software more secure. Okay, so why do I want to talk about AppSec? So AppSec, unfortunately, is the #1 reason for data breaches. The past 3 years, we are the winner, according to the Verizon Breach Report. I want to not win this Nobel Prize anymore. And you can see like 29 to 40% of breaches like each year. Is 29 to 40% of your security budget going towards making your software secure? Because I bet it's not, right? Okay, so another thing is that we're not really teaching it in school. Like, who here took computer science or soft eng or something? In school? Okay, so how many of you feel you got taught how to make secure software in school? Okay, one hand. Definitely, I want to talk after. Yes. And you? Okay, awesome. Thank you, I'm so glad, because usually I've never seen a hand before. Yes, it's getting better. Okay, so another reason is that security's outnumbered. Do you see how lonely she looks? She's all sad in the data center by herself. That's me being security. So this is the numbers, apparently. For every 100 developers, there are 10 people doing ops, and there's 1 doing security. And I've worked places where there's like 2,000 developers, and I am the AppSec team. Imagine like a glass of water, and someone has a fire hose, and they're aiming it at it, and then you go away for a few months, and you come back. And that's what my inbox looked like every day. And this is an image my friend made me. It's dinosaurs frolicking in a waterfall, because it's old. I found like developing code in waterfall didn't always work, but the security model was just brutal. Like, stop, just like code freeze for a few weeks while we do a code review. No, we'll just continue to release code and ignore you, thanks. Okay, so let's talk about what DevOps is. So I want to talk about the business goals for DevOps, and then I'm going to talk about like our view as the tech people of DevOps. So main goals, we want to get to market faster, we want to have better resilience, and we want to be able to like release fixes faster, right? Like those are the main goals. We want to make the money and have an awesome product, right? Okay, so I believe that these goals intersect very nicely with security's goals. So I'm going to briefly talk about that. So if you can improve deployment frequency, so it's happening all the time, like 3 times a day instead of 3 times a year, that means if I find a security vulnerability, you can fix it for me now. I worked somewhere once, and our release cycle was 16 months. Our emergency release cycle, when I found something nasty, was 4 months. 4 months. Okay, so the next thing is lower failure rates. Some people call this resiliency. Who here has seen this before? The CIA triad. Yes, this is the mandate of security. It is our job, like this is why we get paid, to protect the confidentiality, the integrity, the availability of the systems that you create and the data in those systems. Like that's our job. If those are in line, we get paid, no one gets fired, life is good. So when we look at resiliency and then we look at the CIA, see how availability is slightly bigger? If it's always available, then security's happy, and if it's resilient, it's likely to always be available. So this is great. Okay, so security team totally on board for the goals. So what about the last goal, faster time to market? Why does the security team care about this? Because there's no security team if there's no business. We don't win if the business doesn't win, right? It's our job to enable everyone in the business to get whatever they need to get done doing securely. That's our job. So if we are the ones in the way of them getting the work done, we are the threats. Okay, so this is another thing that I said. So I'm obsessed with OWASP, and considering how obsessed I am, me saying DevOps is the best thing to happen to AppSec since OWASP is the highest compliment I can pay. I really believe that if we're going to do IT right, then we have a really good chance of doing security right. So DevOps and the 3 ways. I know there are several different definitions of what DevOps is. So I'm going to give you my definition, and by my definition, I mean I've memorized the DevOps handbook, I read the Phoenix Project and Accelerate. I love all of those books, and I feel you should all read them too. But basically, you can't have DevOps unless you have the 3 ways. So the first way is we need to emphasize the speed of the entire system. So I can't just work really hard to get my part to go faster if everything still takes just as long, right? Instead, I should work with another team because theirs is a roadblocker, right? So you want speed. The next thing is you want feedback. I want to know right away. I want to fail fast. If I'm going to fail, please let me fail in a week, not a year, right? And then the third way is continuous learning. You can't really go very far if you don't learn. Who here has worked somewhere where there's this person, maybe it's you, where they're like, I can't leave for 1 minute because everything in the entire building will fall apart. Everything will fall without me. Yeah, you need to go on training the most because you haven't got out in a long time, and there might be newer, more exciting ways and things that you can do that you can't do because you're constantly just trying to hold together this like crumbling system, right? And when we update things and we change things, then all of a sudden life gets better. And we're going to talk a little bit about heroics, because I would like you to not have to do heroics at work every day. Okay, so how do we do these? How do we emphasize the efficiency of the entire system and add security, right? So what I'm going to do is just go through the 3 ways and give you a ton of ideas that I hope you want to take some of them back. How's everyone doing? Did everyone have breakfast this morning? Yeah? Did everyone have coffee? We're good? Okay, because I'm going to put like a lot of stuff in your brain, and I have to go kind of fast because I only got 40 minutes. Good, caffeine's good. Okay, so emphasizing the speed of the entire system, so I call this left to right, and here is my amazing animation. I know, right? I'm amazing. So what this means is that we need everything to go fast, so security can't be a big bottleneck anymore. Who here has worked in security and felt sometimes like you are a bottleneck? I definitely have, unfortunately, not on purpose, but I have been that person. So the big thing for security in regards to making the entire system as efficient is we can't be a bottleneck anymore, and we cannot break the build unless there's something actually bad happening, right? So we can't say, oh, well, we're not ready for that, so you have to go way, way slower and stop everything you're doing and wait on us. We should break the build if we find something serious, though, and a lot of developers don't like that. When you break the build, you are unpopular, so you want to make sure that you only stop the pipeline for real, like pull the and-on cord on the assembly line if you actually found something serious. So that's what it means for security, but what does it mean for dev and ops? How do they make this a part of their daily life? So first of all, we need help from all of you. So us security people, we need help from you tuning and installing our tools in your pipeline. We need to actually collaborate with you, not just tell you, guess what I'm going to go do to you. I don't want to add something to your pipeline that takes 8 hours because I configured it incorrectly, so I need feedback from you to make sure I don't mess things up. And it also means that when your pipeline finds bugs that aren't serious enough to break the build, they still have to go into your backlog and your bug tracker, and you still have to fix them. Just, it's not breaking the build, right? Just because something's a low doesn't mean it doesn't matter. I've worked places where they're like, oh, if it's medium, we just delete those. Oh, no. Okay, so what else does it mean? It means if you can, reuse things. Don't reinvent the wheel, right? So if you can use code samples, if you can have a secure coding library with good code samples, if something has already been like pen tested into oblivion, like reuse that code if you can. I've worked places where we like create this awesome template, and then we just test the crap out of the template, and then we all just update from the template. Right? Like, you'd be surprised how many people don't do this. And I'm like, you know, oh, we have lots of pride. You know, I could do it better myself. No, don't do it. Be lazy. Reuse if it's good. Okay, yeah, and we also, of course, want to just deploy up-to-date images and containers. You would not believe how many places I've worked where they have like the golden image for a month. It doesn't change. I'm like, but Patch Tuesdays happened so many times since, you know, the first of the month. Why are we deploying that? Come on. Okay. Throughout this talk, I'm going to have 5 photo slides. I have images instead of words on the screen so that you'll listen to me talk, because I know when I see words, I have to read them. And so if you like to take notes, I took the notes for you. So just take an image of this picture. There's going to be 5 of them. I personally don't like to write things down, and I lose them and stuff, so you could just take a picture, and I did the work for you. So there will be 5. This is number 1. So this is the, what does this mean for dev and ops? And I'm just going to give everyone a second with their cameras because I don't want to be that person that asks you to take a picture and then is like, no, too late. Okay, everyone good? Okay, next slide. Okay, and yes. Okay, so what else does this mean for dev and ops? So it means that if we create a security pipeline, we want you to use it. So sometimes, you know, like you have the regular pipeline that goes out and then publishes to this environment, this environment, this environment. But maybe the security team will create a parallel security pipeline for you. So it goes to nowhere, but it runs all the deep tools that take a long time. And we don't need you to look at the results. Just like press the button Friday so I could come in Monday and look at the results. If you have a security team that's so nice to make one for you, please use it. Also, another thing, which Sneak might want to tell you about, but like you want to check your third-party components, right? Like almost all apps right now, like 50, 60, 70, 80% of each app is actually like all your libraries. And it's your framework and your third-party little components that you don't even think about. Like, oh, it's just that fancy front end we put in. Yes, that is the thing that is wildly vulnerable. So there are many, many tools that you can put in your pipeline that are really, really fast. And you can just have it scan your repository just, like weekly or something and tell you like, oh, that's the danger zone, right? Like this is an easy check that's pretty fast, and I highly recommend it. Oh, there you go. Yes, please help us tune our tools because we don't want to annoy you. It's really important we don't annoy you. We want to help you. We want to be that person that you are happy to see, not that person you're like, oh God, Tanya. Okay, so the next one is, so my friend Morgan, who's here, he taught me this. So who here has, first let's talk about what positive testing is. So positive testing, you're making sure it does the thing it's supposed to do. Negative testing is making sure it doesn't do anything it should not do. So let's say Tanya is going to use your app and she's in a bad mood and she's like, I'm going to put in payloads and other things. It's making sure it fails properly. So a thing that you can do with this is, so who here at work has complete coverage with unit tests for all their code? Just kidding, I can't put up my hand. If anyone puts up their hand, I'm always like, you are not telling the truth. But who here has like some unit tests, right? So you can take all of those unit tests and you can kind of change them around, and then you all of a sudden have regressive security testing. It's a pretty exciting idea, and Roman has a cool video about it. So this is photo 2. There are a bunch of really cool tools that do the checking of your third-party dependencies. I often recommend doing 2 if you can, in case one of them missed one of them. A lot of them do it in a bunch of different ways, especially if you're going to use a free one, use another one, because there's varying qualities to everything. Okay, everyone was much faster at the photos this time. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so up next, we're going to talk about faster feedback. And so that's right to left, or amazing animations, pushing left, right? So I'm a big fan of the idea of shifting security left, or if they're not inviting you, you push it left. You're like, please, hi, you're having a requirements meeting. I didn't see my invite, but I'm here now. Let's talk about the requirements for your project. The idea of pushing left is that if we start security earlier, we will get better results. But don't trust me. The Ponemon Institute came up with these great stats. So the later you fix a security bug, or any bug, the more it costs, and the crappier job you do. So these are the stats according to them of exactly how much, but basically it's exponentially more. Just as you go on, it's just more. And what's not on this is, so it says like, if you notice it in prod, it doesn't have a number for if a bad person notices it in prod and there's an incident and you have to call me in the middle of the night and I'm not nice. I'm very grumpy. I'm so glad my current job, I don't have to do incident response. I made them write that in. Okay, so what does faster feedback mean for security? Well, for us, it's awesome. So if we can give you security feedback faster, that is awesome. I want you to know, like, right at the beginning of the things that you're doing, like, oh, that library that you're using for Node.js, like, just not that one. Right? I would love to know that at the beginning instead of like way down the line after I've been coding on it forever, right? Okay, and yes. And the other thing like is what it means for dev and ops, right? So there's like a lot of things they can change. So tell us if there's something that bothers you. The security team might not be as friendly as I seem, but they have good intentions, I promise you, even when they yell no at you in a meeting because they're upset. Just kidding, yelling's not allowed. But if you don't tell us what's wrong, then we don't know and we can't fix it, right? Like I've worked places where I'm like, don't gossip behind my back and tell me how this new rule I came out with is stupid. Tell me it's stupid so I can fix it and maybe say something instead of stupid, use a nicer word that's professional, but like, feedback goes both ways, so we're giving you feedback about security concerns we see. Please give us feedback about like, hey, Tanya, you added this thing to our pipeline and now nothing publishes and we don't know what any of it means and we're pretty upset because we can't get our deadline done. Thank you, thanks for telling me instead of everyone else in the office. Oh, actually, wait, no, there's more on this slide. Actually, no, I am going to save that for this slide. So this is my friend Clint. Clint's here, where are you, wave? Yeah, hi, so Clint's really cool, and he's speaking here too. So he told this awesome story at AppSec California, where he worked somewhere, and there was this really old MD5 hash function, and they just did not want anyone using it anymore. MD5 is broken, right? But they didn't want to just like make it unusable right away so that like all these things broke, right? Because there's all this backwards compatibility. So instead they put this wrapper around it. So people are coding and they would use it and then it would change in the IDE and say non-cryptographically secure MD5. Pretty good hit, yeah, and then usage went down basically to nothing immediately. And so like it was like instant feedback, like instant, it could not get faster than that. So you can be creative and come up with any idea you want, but like doing this and telling the developer immediately is a lot better than like, well, we're just gonna make it not work anymore, and then all these legacy apps don't work, and then you better believe it, everyone's pissed at you. Other things, if the security team invites you to participate in activities, please participate. We need you. They're very boring without you. For instance, if there's an incident and you're the person that is the lead of that app and you go home at 3 and you don't tell us and the incident's happening and you're like, I'll just see you tomorrow, that makes a very bad night for me. If there's threat modeling, we should invite developers. Who here does threat modeling and invites developers? Yes, yes. If you do threat modeling and you don't invite like a developer, trust me, you're missing out. They are so evil. They have so many great ideas. They come up with so much stuff I could have never thought of. They're like, oh, but then there's that admin module so that we can do stuff from home. That's not on the design plan? What? Why are you telling me this now? Security sprints. So I am a believer of begging project managers to put a security sprint in the schedule. And anything else that you need them to do. So the more that we interact with them, the more opportunities they have to learn and get to know us and trust us, hopefully. And I have one more thing on this slide, and it is the start of if you find a serious vulnerability in your pipeline, you have to break the build. And this is going to be a thing that makes you not popular, right? Like I've worked a lot of places, and they're like, yeah, you can do as much security testing as you want, but like we're still going to prod. But with a pipeline, like you can now stop that. And we should not take that responsibility lightly and only do it if we're sure. Okay, next slide. Oh, and this is the photo slide, yes. Faster feedback is the key for so many things. I'm sure none of you would want to hear what your boss wants from you at your year-end review. You want to hear it at the beginning, right? So you can go knock all of those goals into the sun. So definitely faster feedback. All right, next slide. So the next one is continuous learning and continuous. So you have feedback, and that's great, but I mean actually like learning. So I don't have like a cute little ASCII animation. However, basically this is culture change, because a lot of places they don't value learning. They say they do, then they give you absolutely zero time to do it. They don't financially support you in doing it in any way, and you're kind of left to your own devices, and a lot of people don't know where to start. So let's talk about how we can weave some learning into our days. So for the security team, it means we have to allocate time to teach developers and ops folks and anyone else in IT how to weave security into their daily work. So where I used to work, they're like, oh, we want you to do security awareness training, and silly me, I didn't tell people not to click on links like I did, but I actually did in-depth training for like each different group. So, oh, you're a sysadmin, great. You're a hacker's favorite person. And I went on about like the risks specific to their jobs, and like with software developers, I was teaching them how to do scanning and all of these things. So we need to enable developers and ops. We need to teach them. Like we have a lot of stuff in our heads that they wish was in their heads. So you need to share it with them. Another thing is, if we have a pen test done or a security testing thing or anything like that done, we need to share the results once we've fixed the things. I know that's scary. I really don't like admitting flaws ever. I'm a bit of a perfectionist and a control freak, so that's a good combo. But like you should take those test results. First of all, like look for them in your pipeline. That would be great if you could add them as unit tests or something like that. But like if you see the same result over and over, have a lunch and learn on that topic, because the same developers make most of your apps, right? Like I've worked at lots of places, there's so much overlap between the projects. So if you're having lots and lots of cross-site scripting, you are, trust me, you are. Then you should do a deep dive lunch and learn onto like how to find it, how to fix it, like what is a blacklist or a whitelist? Okay, I'm ranting, I know. But anyway, It's our job to teach them. We can't say, oh, those dumb developers don't know how to write good code. It's their fault. It's their responsibility. It's ours. That's my opinion. It's ours. If they don't know how to do something, then I need to go show them. I wish I could hire perfect developers that knew as much about security as I did, but then they would want my job. And I don't want that. Okay, so what does this mean for dev and ops? If we offer training, we the security people, please say yes. Oh my gosh, please show up. Sometimes it's hard to make time. You can also train yourself. At the end of this talk, I'm going to give this big list of a whole bunch of free resources, and there are way, way, way more. This is just like my list of my favorites. But there are so many places where you can learn for free, and even just like Friday afternoon, like reserving the hour after lunch to watch like one video about AppSec. You'd be surprised how much you can learn week after week if you actually keep to that small habit. I used to do that, and then I went through a bunch of university courses that way. Okay, and then the last thing is, if you're a developer or an ops person and the security team informs you of a security bug or vulnerability or thing that's new that you didn't know about, tell the rest of your team. Tell everyone, like, oh yeah, this, and like, we can't do that anymore because of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they told me, we had this big incident, it was scary. Like, I feel the security team should be sharing that info, but if they're not, you share the info. Another thing that it means is, so I'm a big fan of practicing for the big day. I used to work at Elections Canada, and I helped run the election last time. And they actually do a complete practice of the entire election 6 months before. They build an office, they build the network, they do everything, and then we just throw security incidents at them because we're jerks. And we throw in all sorts of fake problems and all of this, and then we test all the stuff, improve it, and then on the real day, we looked pretty good. You can do this for everything. So you can have like a fake incident, you can have a simulation, and you should invite developers to be a part of it so they know. Because I remember working somewhere once and flipping out on someone because they did not follow any of the protocols, and it's because my team didn't actually tell anyone the protocols. So if you practice, then you can find out who doesn't know, and if you missed a team with your training. Okay, so this is photo slide number 4. So accept the training, train yourself, share information widely, participate, please, if there is a security simulation. Oh, and then actually I didn't say the last two. Look at your metrics for security vulnerabilities you have, and then try to knock out those bug classes. Everywhere that I've worked in AppSec, I'm like, hey, can I see all the scans that you've ever done? And then I look for patterns, and wherever the top 3 are, I do a lunch and learn. And I will tell you the secret. So 2 of the 3 are always the exact same everywhere. They are, everyone is allergic to security headers and tons of cross-site scripting. So you should just go watch some videos on that now and make everyone come in for lunch, serve donuts, because everyone is doing that. Everyone has problems with those 2 things. And figure out what your things are and teach everyone so you don't have that problem anymore. Okay, so now we want to talk about security is everybody's job. So if we're going to change our culture, we're going to start doing DevOps, we have to actually maintain that culture. We can't just be like, we had a meeting, everyone's changed. No, you have to like do supportive activities so it actually happens. Okay, so the first one is celebrate. Usually I have only seen the security team when I've done something very bad or something very bad's happening. What if we celebrated when they did a good job? Like, oh, we did a security sprint, everyone did a great job, awesome, lunch is on us, right? Or like, we had a pen tester in and that person could only find 2 things wrong, awesome. Another thing is I feel we should work more closely with our developer and operations counterparts. I've worked in a bunch of places where the security team is actually in a separate building, and what this results in is I don't know them personally, and it's a lot harder for them to want to trust me, listen to me, all of those things. It's so much better if you can actually spend time with them, because I don't know if you know, they're people. Okay, no more blaming. So I had to learn this one when I joined security. The first time there was an incident, I blamed the other person. I'd never done an incident before. I didn't know what was happening. I was very upset. That gets you nowhere. Instead of it's Bob or Alice's fault, instead, what safeguard was missing that this was able to happen, or what training should we have given them, or like what process is broken? Just find out what happened, recover, postmortem, figure out what happened, and it's that person's fault. It's not a person. If that person had something happen, there's a reason that it happened. Okay. I chose this picture because I feel she just looked like a total badass. And she's like just outside the data center. She's like, I got this. So you could be a security champion. My friend Ray wrote an awesome article about security champions last week. But basically, like, they are your people that go and evangelize your message to everyone else in IT, and they are your best friend. So if there's someone that's like, oh, that was really cool about the incident last week, like, I'm interested to learn more, buy them a book. Invite them on another incident if you are allowed. Teach them more, and they might turn out like me, where they end up just joining the security team. And so this is the part of the talk where I get awkward, so I'm like pretty good at getting awkward. So I want to talk about, so the definition of quality needs to change. So quality includes security, right? So it means resilience, learning, speed, feedback, all of these things. We can't have a good product if we put it on the internet and then someone knows your password after 5 minutes, right? Even it has to be secure in order to be high quality. And so I would like everyone to please put up your right hand, because I'm going to make you swear on it. Please put up your hands. Oh, no, your hand's not up. Yep. Okay, one more. Okay, so I promise that my definition of quality includes secure. And I will do my best to create the most secure products that I know how. Thank you. Thank you very much. So in conclusion, we've got this now. We're all experts, but more likely by tomorrow at like 5 p.m. when you see all the rest of the amazing talks. I'm so excited to see all of them. But now, if you get your cameras out, I have a bunch of free resources. So if you want to feel better about going to DevOps and learn about other people's mistakes, we documented all of them because we're like a big fan. When we have a postmortem, we put it on the internet because we want people to know. So learn about our journey, and it was not perfect immediately, and we admit that. I have an open source project, and we make videos basically of us nerding out and doing, like, just trying to figure out where we as security professionals fit into DevOps. And we make mistakes because a lot of it is live, and that's okay. Mentoring Monday. So every Monday on Twitter, I run this campaign, and all of you are invited. Who here has worked in security more than 2 years? Congratulations, you are qualified to be a mentor. I encourage you to look up this hashtag and answer someone. Be like, you know what? This is the book that I read that really helped me. This is the video that helped me. Or like, hey, do you want to have, a coffee on the internet? I call it a virtual coffee where you like Skype and then you like drink coffee together and like talk about like what you're looking for. We will never have senior people in our industry unless we make junior people and we lift them up. Right? So all of us, if you want to be able to take vacations and know that you have a team underneath you that knows what they're doing, like we need to do a lot more mentoring. And if you want to get into security, like just put what you're looking for, use this hashtag. If you tag me, I'll retweet it. People are answering people, and I really appreciate your participation. Thanks for putting up your hands and agreeing. I'm a big fan of OWASP. There's a chapter here. There are chapters all over the world. I'm like such a giant fan. If you are not part of OWASP, like go check it out. That's where I've met most of my friends. They're really welcoming and they want you, trust me. If you are a woman, please consider joining WhoaSec. I wanted to make more friends. You should too. If you're non-binary, please come. And yeah, it's just like a place for you to meet new people. And I love men, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's cool to have someone to talk about how my dress has wings. And then lastly, resources, me. I release a lot of, like I have a blog and a video channel, and I even have a mailing list. And basically, I just release a lot of content for free. And so if you liked this, there's lots more. And with that, I would like to thank all of you for your time and attention today so much. Thank you. I know that we started late. Do we have a minute or two for questions?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so these are a real promise. I have them after if you ask the question after, and then everyone can just like run up and, is there time between the next talk? Can they get stickers or should they get stickers later?
Let's get stickers later.
Stickers later. Stickers will be back there. Okay, does anyone have a question? Yes? Will the slide deck be available? Yes, it is, and it's already available on my SlideShare. So if you want, I could like tweet a link, and I can tag the conference, and maybe they could retweet it. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a video of this talk online as well.
You talked about the hard kind of existential conversation responsibility is as far as drawing the line in which we'll take the potential existential hit of saying, yeah, no, this is beyond what's acceptable, and I'm not doing this, and you'll just have to fire me. Do we have a responsibility to draw a line in the sand when we think that things are being too risky?
So he's asking, like, sometimes management is just, oh, I'm accepting this risk, I'm accepting that risk, and like everything's literally burning down around you, like that sticker I was giving out earlier. And like, when is it our responsibility to resign? So I've resigned before in protest, and they know why. Like years ago. And but I've also done a thing where I will just write up all of the risks very clearly, and then I sent it to the departmental security officer and the CISO, and I asked for them to sign off on the risk. And the departmental, like the physical security officer called me. He's like, what is this shit? I'm not signing this. This is ridiculous. I'm like, Bill, no one will fix anything. No one's giving me the time of day. And like, you know, our release is coming soon, like the big release to the public, right? And I'm like, we can't release this like this, and no one will do anything. You tell them Bill sent you. And I just go in the room, I'm like, well, Bill said, and everyone would just jump. And because I was like, I'm not willing to be on the security team and like release this without you signing that this is your fault. Because I've been begging and pleading and like literally bringing cookies to developers, asking them to do things. So you kind of have those two options. If you work in security, you could have a job anytime you want. Just like tell the room you're interested in, people will come tackle you. Don't worry, there's more places. Yes? Oh, and then you. Wait, sorry, you, then you.
So kind of a follow-up question. I think it really gets down to systems thinking, right? Like you have to know what kind of organization you're in. So I think it was Warner that defined 3 types of organizations. Political, bureaucratic, and basically a learning organization.
Wait, what was the last one?
Basically a learning organization. You have
Okay.
different titles for it.
Okay.
I think if you don't know what kind of organization you're in, you don't know what kind of leverage you can pull. So if you're in a very political organization where it's all about delivery and there's not a lot of appetite to actually increase quality, then yeah, you'll find yourself in a position where you just feel like you need to quit. But at the same time, if you know that you're in one of those 3 types of organizations, you start to know which levers you can pull to actually get some traction there. So, well, I think that's the kind of the end solution to just quit. There's still a lot to be learned and kind of apply from what works in other organizations.
Very cool. So just to summarize, you said there's 3 types of organizations, like learning, bureaucratic, and political. And that depending upon the one you're in, you could change the way that you conduct yourself, which is definitely true. So him, then you.
Okay. Wow.
Hi.
Hi. So a follow-up on the first question about risk.
Yes.
Have you seen any, so I'm on the developer side of the equation, and one of the things that we always do is prioritize our requirements. We're getting our requirements people to start talking about cost of delay. I'm trying to get security people to talk in terms of risk prioritization, and cost of delay that they're adding to the overall flow. Have you seen anything like that?
I have definitely been the developer that yells at the security team for having them add requirements that they refuse to explain, and they just say, because security. And I tell them that they have to actually explain why we need them, or I'm not willing to put them on my project. I was like the lead developer for a really long time, so I was very stubborn. I think that it's okay to ask security people, like to hold them at the higher level, and like, yeah, if this is gonna add 1 year to our project, like, we need to justify. Quantify the risk.
So we can
Yeah.
make an intelligent
Yeah.
ranking decision.
I definitely don't do risk management. I only write risk release sheets if I'm just like, I'm not willing to have my name on this, it's so bad. But that is a very good question, and I would love to see risk quantified a lot more. It's really hard. That's why I actually went and took like some communication classes so that I could be better at it, because I was told just yelling loudly isn't a really good strategy, Tanya. Who knew? And I might need to take your question after.
Yeah, we have to.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to go into the next person's talk. Thank you so much for everyone, and like I'll talk. Thank you.